Welcome, Duncan Keith.
Thank you.
Hey, man.
Good to be back.
I'm on our Get Local with Genesis here. We're going to let the people of Kelowna get caught up on what's been happening in your world, Duncan, and then we're going to go for a nice supper and at Derrick's Steakhouse, a new local restaurant there, and have some good food, man.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's exciting. Never been there myself. Yeah.
So tell us, what have you been up to, man? I know you've been busy with your son and hockey and stuff, but how you enjoying retirement?
I'm loving it. Yeah, it's good. Just coaching my son Colton, and we're heading to provincials here in about 10 days. So I think all the kids are excited for that. But yeah.
And I heard you beat your rival from Kelowna there, your ex.
Yeah, we did. We're gonna have to probably end up playing. We could end up playing them again. They're hosting, so always close games against our arch rivals, Kelowna. So it'll be a good test.
Nice.
Good test. Lots of good teams at provincials.
Yeah. Now, I remember you telling me last time we met, you're still kind of helping the Oilers on some player development stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
But
it's kind of tough to do.
While you're coaching.
Yeah, while I'm coaching. But Bob Nicholson was actually just in town in Penticton, so it was nice to catch up with him, and definitely watching as many Oiler games as I can. And I think they got a good chance. I know they're kind of struggling right now a little bit, but it's a long season. I think they'll be fine. Any team that has
they've done it before, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Barrel the year they went to the finals and came out of it. So
yeah, it's just kind of that time of year. I think they'll pick it up here.
Yeah,
they'll get a win next game. But yeah, it'll be exciting to watch. I'm excited for watching playoffs.
Nice. Now, is this next year? Are you eligible for the Hall of Fame, or is it you got to wait one more years after retirement?
I don't know. I think you have to wait three.
Three?
Yeah. So
okay.
I think I would be eligible, but those things obviously would be pretty special. But it's not.
I would think that you're gonna two
not
Norrises, right?
Yeah. 2
Norrises, 1 Conn Smythe, and 2 Stanley Cups, right?
3. Don't
Three.
forget that third one.
What was it? It was 213, 215, and what was the third one?
2010.
2010. I always forget about the 2010 one.
Yeah.
Cool. Out of that long career, which one are you? What's your sort of? What are you most proud of out of all your playing career that you could say?
Well, obviously the championships, they're special. You think back on how hard it was and the journey it took to get to the top, and I don't know. I think it's hard to pick one. Whether it was Olympic gold medals with Team Canada and playing with all those players, Crosby, and but that bond that we had in Chicago, especially with the 7 guys that won all 3. Played with Siebes my whole entire career, so for me I think it's those type of things that made it special, the memories and the relationships. And
you still have a pretty tight bond with those 7 guys?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's kind of hard. Everybody's retired.
Seabrook you see here in Kelowna, right?
Yeah, he was coaching West Kelowna, so we were battling against one another, but we're coaching our spring team together, and I don't know. I think it's.
You still run into or still touch base with him once in a while?
I texted him about a month ago, watching a Wings game. He didn't get the puck, so I was texting him there. I said I would have given you that on the power play. But it was just fun. You play with great players, and you learn so much from your teammates, and they push you to get better. And I think that's what was what made us successful, is that camaraderie and just everybody wanting to get better.
I'm sure with the World Cup, you were watching it and probably took you back a little bit with there's a lot of excitement with Canada here and going against the U.S. in the finals. I actually was up in Montreal
the 4
nations
the there. Yeah, that was special. It was cool to see Connor get the winner. A little bit of that passing of the torch kind of thing. There's lots of good players. It was fun to watch the intensity and that pace, especially in the middle of the regular season. So can't wait to watch that next year at the Olympics.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Do you think they'll go with most of the same team?
I don't think so. I heard that it's going to be played on NHL size ice, so we'll see. I don't know. I would imagine most of those players would be back, but I would imagine there'd be a few changes too, depending on who's playing well at the time, right?
Yeah. Now, with you coaching your son in hockey, is the coaching something that you may look into down the road? Staying back, like obviously you love hockey, you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself maybe going that route and kind of getting back in the game with professional, or?
I don't know. It's hard to look too far down the road. I mean,
how old is your son? How many more years does he have at home?
He's 11. He'll be turning.
You still got 5 or 6 here, right?
Yeah, he'll be turning 12 in May, so it does go by pretty quick, you know.
What kind of regime and that do you still do, and diet and all that? Is there a special thing to stay in shape, or I mean, obviously he's too young to be that dialed in, but what do you share? Like, what do you recommend?
Well, for kids, I mean, for my son, it's, I think, just building those habits, those day-to-day habits, and, you know, routines of trying to get to bed on time and things like that. You know, with a diet.
So he has a curfew?
He's got a curfew. But he, you know, he's pretty dedicated. I don't really have to do too much. You know, there's the odd time where he gets up before me, and you know, he's got eggs made, and he's doing his thing. So that's it's been good. You know, I'm proud of him for that. And but yeah, we do get in the gym and train, and just keeping it light, especially during the hockey season. Something to stay strong. You know, training's important. Hockey's a physical game, obviously, so it's more injury prevention. And
Is he a defenseman too?
Yeah, he's a D-man. He's a D-man like his papa. He wanted to go back there. He didn't like. I think he likes it. He likes to
lefty. Is he a lefty too, or were you right D? Or were you?
Yeah, he's a lefty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a lefty as well, and so yeah, that's been kind of fun actually, to be playing the exact same position.
Okay,
so
there you go.
He does have a bit of, I would like to think he has a bit of an advantage in that regard, but ultimately, you know, it comes down to how bad they want it and what they're willing to do. And you know, so far right now, I think he keeps improving and he likes it, so that's the most important thing.
Nice. What was that when you were young like that, playing for the Rockets, and then kind of that step up to, like, walk me through that experience when you first went through it?
Well, I'd already been drafted out of Michigan State, and then I left halfway through my sophomore year and came here to play for the Rockets and Bruce Hamilton, the Hamilton family. And for me, that was, I look back on my career, that was kind of a pivotal moment, I guess, or you know, point in my career where it was a big decision. It was tough to leave your team mid-season voluntarily.
So, like,
but
you left in like December, January?
December, right after Christmas, and I came here, played in Kelowna my 19-year-old year, and you know, I remember just thinking, just after 2 or 3 days, that it was the best decision I ever made.
What kind of, like, where was your head at, like, changing? Like,
well, the reasoning was because I was already drafted, so it provided an opportunity to play pro and sign with Chicago sooner, which did happen. I left in December, and then, you know, 6-7 months later, I signed my contract with the Blackhawks, and as a 20-year-old the next year, and played in 2 years in the minors. So you know, you're making money when you're in pro, right? So it's you know, a lot of great memories, great teammates on that I do still keep in touch with.
Keep in contact with all that team?
Quite a few of them, not every single guy, but
nice.
It was a pretty tight-knit group, and that was a fun experience, and glad it was a nice car.
Yeah, you know, we're a new brand, so it's getting our name out, and you know, once people come for a test drive, they love the vehicles, right? So luxury brand is just getting the name out, getting people to compare it, because you know, some of the big luxury brands, Mercedes and Lexus and some of those ones, you know, people have been buying them for so many years, so it's like, hey, why don't you come and try a Genesis there? And once they do, they're like, wow, I can't believe how nice it is, and the pricing and the rest of it, right? So.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So we started this multi-sport thing. We're all doing that. The dealership has that going on now. So
What's that thing? What's that?
multi-sport. So once a week we meet and we do all these sports.
Oh, that's
So we
good.
compete. Yeah, so we're keeping busy with that. So yeah.
So what is that, like teams for the different
Yeah, teams. Yeah, we
dealerships
play
and stuff?
handball, we play volleyball, we play basketball, we play hockey, ball hockey. We do different sports every week.
I feel like you got a different culture, eh? Like a good culture for
Yeah, try to.
your businesses. That's good.
Try
you
to.
know?
We try and we hold people accountable, and we make them work hard. But at the same time, we like to have fun and do fun
That's good.
things, and whether it's activities or whether it's functions or whatever. So we kind of offset it that way, and I think people like the culture, right? So
All right.
how does it work for ice time? Like, it's even ice time, and then unless it's the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, we've been lucky because the team's pretty solid from top to bottom. So it's kind of, there's been times where very seldom, for most part, it's just we're just rolling them. Even if there's no power play units, like the odd time we'll, in a big game,
They develop more when everyone gets the equal opportunity, right?
I think so. I think they got to earn it, you know, and they got a little bit of everything. And
I know even when I coached, I didn't get that as much, and now I look back and I can see it. It was almost better to roll them and give everybody the opportunity, right?
Yeah, you can still hold them accountable in different ways, I find, but I think the biggest thing is just being lucky that even from line to line, they're pretty even, so it's kind of like, if they're messing around out there, throw the other line out there a little quicker than you normally would,
Yeah, makes sense, Margarita, nice.
Thank you.
And this is the smoky old fashioned. Wow. So wow. That is. So how did he do that?
Using cherry wood chips.
Oh, cool.
So turn that on, it draws the smoke.
Oh, nice.
Give it a little bit of air.
Oh, that's tasty. It's got the big cube in there. Nice.
Cube will have our logo on it.
All right.
Just on that. That's just actually kind of turning a little bit. There'll be a D. Yeah, right
The D.
there.
Okay, nice.
And before we make those final decisions with the food menu there, we'll just go over all the different cuts that we have
Thank
available
you.
for you this evening.
I would like that. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go from the smallest to the largest cut that we have available for you this evening. Starting with the tenderloin here. It's going to come in 6 or 10 ounces from High River, Alberta. So we're going to pan roast that one for you, done to your liking. We'll let it rest in a bath of brown butter, rosemary, and thyme.
Hey, Ross. How you doing, man?
Fantastic.
Grab a seat. I'd love to hear.
Nice to meet you.
I know Duncan Keith. Love to hear a little bit about how your operation's going. How long have you been doing this? What do you, 6?
8 months. 8 months, very long time.
Yeah.
Almost like it's a staple in town. So 8 months as
Good.
of last week. So
What's your background and what made you get going on here and start putting it? I remember talking to you. Kind of put it all on the line here, start your own business.
well, this way. This is our third business.
Yeah.
So we have Broken Anchor, which is what I started originally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Then Globe, which is at Big White, which is a seasonal place. But then I was spending too much time at home in the summertime, so I decided I need to open up another restaurant.
Yeah.
And that was this opportunity.
Yeah.
We didn't necessarily think. I never thought we'd be in this space. Rod Butters, who's a very good friend of mine, had this space for 22 years, almost 23.
It's a great opportunity to take over the spot.
Yeah, he invited me over for charcuterie and wine to his house, and then we left with the idea of, taking over the space. So it was pretty
good
fun.
for you.
So, yeah.
Good for you. Good. So is it you own the business? Or you have a partner, or?
I have I'm 50%, and then I have
So you're kind of the
my friend-
managing partner. You
the
run it?
managing partner,
Okay,
yeah. And then we have a group of friends that joined up and are comprised the other 50% of the company. And so far, they just kind of let me do what I think is right, and that's what we've been working on. And I think it's been a good decision for all of us all around.
How's the first 8 months going? Give us a rundown of The wins and the challenges.
I think the Okanagan wanted something like this.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything like this for a number
The way
of years.
you guys bring out the meat is really cool.
Yeah.
Was it hard getting the chefs and the team together? Or did you have sort of guys that you knew? Like, because obviously, fine dining restaurant, probably top 2 or 3 in town. You know, how was it getting the people?
Well, very long plan. So my management team had lived with me at one point. Our chef,
Is that a good
Alex
thing or a
Lavrov,
bad thing?
pretty good. He lived in my suite starting the beginning of COVID. So he moved into our family house in Glenmore and just lived in the suite. And then Mike Emery, him and I were roommates over a decade ago.
Yeah.
You know, we shared like the love of like food and wine and service, and you know, just for a short time. And when we went to start putting together the team, with the other restaurants, we had people we could pull from. But very quickly, you know, enough people knew me socially and professionally that the team, it was hard to put together just in figuring out exactly who to put in.
Yeah.
But we had a pretty good roster to choose from, and we're very lucky to have that.
Yeah.
So the most important thing was kind of creating the team that could have a cohesive unit and make the vision happen, and they've done a very good job at it.
So you kept the one server from before, the Bill Stapleman. He said he came with the lease.
He did. That's Mike. That's Mike Kennedy. He's been in this building, I think, for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And we have a few other people that had been in the building.
One of the bartenders.
One of the bartenders and another server, Chris. He had worked previously, but he wasn't part of the closing team of Rods. But everybody wanted to be back, and I think the space was special enough for a lot of people in the Okanagan that even as a worker there, I love working in that space. I want to be back there. So we kind of had a lot of that. And even to this day, we have people apply and say, "Oh, I worked at Rods in 2015," or "I worked at Fresco in 2005."
A little bit of the old staff, plus you kind of were able to put your own spin on it. What you wanted to do, right?
Exactly.
Tell me about the menu. Like, what are the go-tos? I know you're sourcing the steaks from High River and Enderby. What was the decision making on that?
I'm a prairie boy, and I've eaten a lot of steak in my life. So I believe High River has some of the best beef in the world.
So the grass-fed and all that.
The grass and grain, there's always differences on the finishing that we choose. We're always trying to
high quality, obviously.
Figure out the best quality, right? And it's AAA or above. Quite often we're buying the prime because the prime's better. But we don't necessarily. Well, we're not going to reprint the menu if we decide to buy prime for the week, because we do go back and forth on what's best for purchasing. The farm in Enderby does a fantastic job. We source that with a partnership with the Lickmans Deli downtown. They've been around for 80 some odd years now as a family butcher, and they'll source that for us. And then
you got some Wagyu on here, I see.
We do, from Brant Lake, Alberta.
So give Duncan and I sort of the owner's opinion. So like, do we get our own, or do we split either the ribeye or the bistecca? What would you recommend? Like, give us the go-to here.
I like going to steakhouses and I like to share, to be honest. I think some of the best steakhouses in the world, you buy bigger cuts of steak. They're going to allow for better flavor because you have more to work with, essentially. So you can grill it longer, you can do more flavor, you can actually add more butter, more thyme, more rosemary.
Which one's the better of the two big ones, bistecca or the ribeye? Give us the.
It's dependent on your day, I think. I think
the
ribeye.
But the bistecca has the two different cuts.
Yeah, so the bistecca has the strip loin and the tenderloin. I'm feeling like, it's a Wednesday. I think I would go with the ribeye if it was me today.
Jeez, look at you, Duncan.
That's what I would do today.
You Stanley Cup champion decision right there. You got the same as the owner.
Well, the great thing about a ribeye, and we don't do a smaller ribeye for a reason. So that's why I really believe in it, is when you have a smaller ribeye, you can't render down the fat enough. And I've had it so many times. Go to a restaurant, you get the ribeye, and you have the fat cap in the middle. The steak's cooked perfectly to medium rare, and the fat is just very gristly and not able to be enjoyed, and the flavor of that fat hasn't actually gone into the meat. Or when you have a larger cut of it, you're able to cook it longer, get more heat into that fat, and it's able to render into the steak and taste better. And for starters,
so starters, is there any sort of
we've tried to go classic.
Bestsellers.
The Caesar salad tableside is what it is. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's a good experience. They'll make that in front of you. My favorite that I have most often is probably the French onion soup, and it's done very traditionally. And we actually went to every single thrift shop and garage sale in the Okanagan for about a month and a half, 2 months, so I could actually have enough French onion soup bowls that were the old ones, because those much very reminded me of like what a French onion soup should look into. So
I'm kind of an onion guy. Can you do up grilled onions?
we could probably make that work for you. We could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grilled onions and steak always seem to
Yeah.
be good. This old-fashioned smoke.
Yes.
What other specials of the bartenders can you recommend us? We're not going to have many, but if we have one more, anything outstanding that you might? Because this was really good.
Well,
Like,
we don't have it on the menu yet.
I know a good old-fashioned, and I see the D ice
Yeah,
cube,
the D.
and it came out smoked. It was pretty impressive.
Pedal to the Metal is a new one that's going on to the menu.
And what's that one?
It is magic. I actually cannot even tell you that what it is very well, because I just tried it for the first time 2 days ago from the bartenders. But he's been working on that in the background.
Okay. Could he mix us each a pedal metal for our second drink?
I think he could.
All right.
I think he could.
Okay.
Yeah. Pedal to the Metal.
We'll get the inside before it goes live.
Perfect.
We needed one of these fine dining steakhouses in Kelowna, so it's going to be great. And Duncan and I are looking forward to having a nice juicy steak.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
bet. Thank you, man.
Perfect.
Appreciate
Thank
you coming over.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.